Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to do a 2 looks with 1 palette using the Melt Impulsive palette. I know that this is an old palette, but it was recently on sale both on Melt's site and on Sephora, so I picked it up. I know a lot of other people picked it up, and I think it's still on sale. So do you want to pick it up? That is the question. Stick around and we're going to find out in just a few moments. So this is the Unicarton. I think it's really cute with everybody, on here. Like the founders are on here and like lots of pictures. It's adorable. And then this is the palette itself. So this baby is heavy, like brick heavy. You could knock somebody out with this palette. Seriously, I would keep this on your bedside table, and if someone breaks into your house, grab it and whack them across the head and they're going down. So it is a big fat palette. So I paid, like I said, $32.50 for this palette on Sephora's site on sale. And for my $32.50, I get this massive palette with 18 shades. It's mostly, honestly, mostly shimmers, and you've only got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mattes. You've got 7 mattes and 11 shimmers. So I used most of the colors in this palette before I did this review. So I think I have a good idea of a good sense of my feelings on this palette. I'm just going to quickly read from the website a little bit about this palette just so you kind of know what the story is behind it. So it says it's an 18 shade palette of brilliant metallics and bold mattes that tell the story of Melt Cosmetics and the fans who made this dream a reality. I'll know what they're talking about with brilliant metallics. I'm just going to say that right now. You'll find out more as this review goes on. What else to know? One side of the palette is inspired by the early years of Melt and the friendship between co-founders Laura and Dana that started it all. It showcases cool tone shimmers and holographic foils. The other side features dangerously bold mattes and vivid shimmers inspired by the brand's fun and fearless Melt fam. So that is pretty much what it says. So again, this is the cool side, cool tone side, and these are all shimmers on this side. This is, like I said, you've got 7 mattes and 2 shimmers on this side. So I think that's pretty much it about the palette. As we all know, Melt Cosmetics is cruelty-free. So if you are a cruelty-free person, this is acceptable for you. But I guess the question really is, do you want to buy this palette? We are going to go ahead and jump into look number 1, which is actually not this look. This is look number 2. Look number 1, I used the kind of warmer shades in this palette, the oranges and the reds and things like that. So yeah, we're going to dive in to look number 1. That'll be followed by look number 2. Then I'll sum up. And at the end, I put the swatches. I like to always say when it comes to swatches, I don't think swatches really give you much sense of how things perform on the eyes. The only reason I ever do swatches, honestly, is to get an idea of what the color is going to look like on my skin as opposed to how they look in the pan, because oftentimes they can look very different on your skin, So yeah, those are at the end because I don't think swatches are like a super useful thing. That's just my own personal opinion. So I like to put those at the end. If you're wanting to find them, that's where they will be. And yeah, all of that said, it was an awful lot. Let's go ahead and dive right into look number 1. Okay, here goes. Look number 1 using the Melt Impulsive palette. So I've got to be honest, I've been staring at this palette for like ever, and I can't really come up with anything that I'm super want to do. I really, this was an impulsive purchase to say the least. It was on sale at Sephora and here we are. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to start with maybe using some of these warmer tones here, and we'll just kind of see where we go. So to start with, I am going to pick up the shade 2012 here on this little Luxie tapered blending brush, the number 229. And we are going to pop that here into the inner portion of my eye. That's a pretty color. I like these kind of baby poop yellow colors. I don't know why. All right, that blended out actually quite nicely. I kind of like that. Next, I think I'm going to go into the shade Rule Breaker, which is this shade that's right next to 2012. I'm going to just pick up another Luxie brush here. If I can find the other one here. This is a Luxie 229. It is just the tapered blending brush. It's the same, right? It's funny, they look different. This one is fluffier than this one. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna go into Rule Breaker and we're gonna place that down right next to 2012. I don't like this brush as much. It's the same brush, but it's not as fluffy. So I think I'm just gonna place that down and then I'm gonna go in and blend it out with the other one. Not adding any additional product on my brush at this point. I just want to kind of blend these two together. Just using that nicer one, we're going to just kind of go in and kind of clean this up a bit. It's looking a little not pretty. I'm going to kind of wipe that brush off and I'm going to go back into 2012. I feel like it's getting lost in Deal Breaker there, or Rule Breaker rather. Just add a little bit more of that in there. There's a little bit of kick up, I brushed it away, but not like I'm used to seeing with melt palettes, and this is actually blending out better, I guess, than I expected it. I don't know why. Next up, let's see, what do I want to do? Do I want to go in with these greens? No, I think I'm going to stick to these warm tones. I'm going to go in with the shade Dream Big right here. I'm just going to pick that up on this lavish tapered blending brush, and we're going to put this here, and I'm going to use that to start my outer V here, and I'm just making a mess. That was me. I did that. That is not all out. I do have my base makeup on, but I haven't powdered yet, so I can go in and fix that. So this one, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of patchiness right here. I am not doing a great job. If I seem really low energy and like not super with it, it's because I am. I've had a pretty bad headache all day today. Not a migraine really, just a headache that's uncomfortable. I'm just going to see if I can kind of wing that out a little bit. And then I'm just going to take that brush that I used before and just kind of blend together right here. So this is definitely like a more fall look, and it is kind of, we're just heading right into summer here in June, but hey, here I am. Okay, that's not terrible. I feel like that patchy problem has kind of gone away now, so that makes me feel a bit better. Okay, I'm happy with where I am right now with that. So now I'm going to go in with, which brush do I want to use this? I'm going to go in with Boss Lady, which is this really deep, dark kind of wine colored shade here. I'm going to take that on an IT Cosmetics crease brush. I like the shape of this for working on the outside. And I'm just going to start kind of packing this on. I'm taking it very slow because I know that Melt's formula can get, especially these darker shades, can get a bit patchy and difficult to blend out if you go in with a heavy hand to start. That is a really beautiful shade. That's really pretty. I really like the depth that that added to the look. Okay, so far I actually really like these shadows. They are some of the easier to work with melt shadows. They remind me a bit of the formula in the Gemini palette. So yeah, I like that so far. Let's see, I think what I'm going to do for my lid is I'm going to use the shade Go Getter. So to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly just kind of put a little concealer there, clean that up, and then we'll see how that applies. I might have to use some glitter glue or glitter primer. We'll see. I'm not looking to do like a straight up cut crease. I don't want this to be like a perfect cut crease. I just want it to be a little cleaner than it's looking right now. So to accomplish that, I'm just going to take this flat shading brush here, and we are just going to get up close and personal so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I think I'm not going to use any glitter primer right now. I just want to see how these kind of perform on their own. And I just realized you guys are like super far away. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I've got this headache that just is making me not really think. All right, so let's go ahead and go in with Go Getter. We are going to start with that on, let's see, I guess I just want like a little flat brush, if I can find my flat brush. There we go. Just use this flat shader, just a synthetic brush, and we're going to pop that on the lid. I think I'm going to just kind of put it, I'm not going to take it all the way to the outside, because I'm going to go in with CEO as well. I think this is actually applying fairly decently with this brush. It's not a high impact shimmer by any means, but the pigment is there, but it's just not that beautiful shimmery foil that I usually like. I'm not going to worry too much about how it looks up there. I'm going to go out and blend that out once I get all my shadows applied. Because like I said, I'm not going for a cut crease here today. This is just me kind of fooling around. Okay, so that's what it looks like dry, applied with just a flat, like little synthetic brush. And really, it's not bad. The pigment really isn't that bad. Let's go in with my finger. Let's just see how it looks if you go that route. If you manage to not make a mess. So I'd say definitely you get better, payoff with your finger, which is, typical, right? So I'm not going to be mad about that. Okay. I really have made a mess of myself, you guys. Next, we're going to go in with CEO. This is not my typical kind of shade that I would typically use on my lid. Actually, you know what? Maybe I want to go in with Morning. No, I'm going to go ahead and go in with CEO. I've just wiped that brush off that I used before, and we're just going to pick some of that up and we're going to apply it here. That at least blends into the outer corner really well. It looks absolutely insane at the moment. We'll have to do some blending for sure. That is really pigmented. All right, those are such different tones, way different than I was expecting. So I think I'm going to go ahead into Morning After and see if we can blend those together. So this one here is Morning After. And we're just going to put that where those two meet. I honestly am not loving this look. I don't think it's the shadow's fault, it's just completely my fault. I'm going to go in here and blend along this top edge because, like I said, I don't want it to be a harsh line. I'm not trying to do a cut crease or anything today. I just kind of want everything to kind of blend into each other. I do have some crazy happening here. Definitely going to have some cleaning up to do. Okay, so lower, let's see, what am I going to put on my, first, before we go in and do anything down there, I'm just going to see if I can kind of add a bit of concealer right there, just to kind of clean up that little mess that I've made. It doesn't want to wipe away, so I don't know that that's any better. Whatever. Okay, so for my lower lash line, I'm going to take this little pencil brush here from Lavish. We're going to go in with Boss Lady to start. And I'm just going to apply it here, the outer corner, making sure that I connect it up to the top lid. Next, I'm going to go in with my smudger brush from IT Cosmetics, and I'm going to pick up Dream Big. And we're just going to smudge that next to, not going to take this one all the way across just yet, but next to and under Boss Lady. And then taking another smudger brush, this one just happens to be from Royal & Langnickel, we are going to go into Rule Breaker. I'm going to use that again underneath what I've already laid down and just kind of smudge that out a bit. You know, I think I'm going to go ahead and take that one kind of all the way in. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit of Go Getter on that same brush, and we're going to just wrap that underneath. Kind of place it in the inner corner as well. And then to kind of blend it all out underneath there, I am just going to pick up my little Luxie brush, if I can find you, little Luxie brush. My little mini round blending brush, and I'm going to go in to, actually I don't think I'm going to add anything, I'm just going to blend it out. See if I can kind of blow that out a little bit and blend it into my skin here. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there for the moment. Maybe we want to add, I don't know how this looks. Let me just look at Poppin' Bottles. I'm not sure if I want to add that to my inner corner or not. No, that's not going to do it for me. It's not bright enough. So I'm going to go finish my complexion products. I'm going to add liner and then probably just whatever face highlight I use, I will add to my inner corners. And then I will be back to show you the final of this look. And then I'll be doing one more look. So hang tight. Okay, so here is the final look, my first look using the Melt Impulsive palette. For my waterline, I just added this 24/7 Glide On pencil from Urban Decay in the shade Drug Love. And my lipstick is the shade Rubino from Stila, the Stay All Day liquid lipsticks. So yeah, here is the first look. Still not quite sure how I feel about this look. I don't know that I'll love it, but that is probably my fault, not the shadow's fault. Anyways, second look is coming up now. Okay, another day, another Melt Impulsive palette look. So I think what I want to do for this look is use the greens from here and these kind of bluey purples over here. And I'll possibly use Poppin' Bottles. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do on my lid yet. So we're just going to go ahead and start with Game Changer, which is this brighter green down here. I'm going to take that on my Luxie 229 tapered blending brush, and I'm just going to put that in my crease all the way across. So I'm having some issues with it wanting to stick in certain places and not blend out in others. It's looking very, very rough and very patchy. So I'm going to kind of go in and see if I can just kind of tap it into place first and then blend it out. And I think what I'm going to do to blend it out is actually take a clean, a little bit more fluffy brush. Let's see, where is my Alamar Cosmetics brush? That is the perfect one for this. If I can find it, there it is. I'm just going to take this Alamar Cosmetics blending brush with no product on it and just kind of blend around the outside edge there. I still feel like I'm seeing some patchiness there, which is disappointing because I really do love this shade. I'm going to go back in with that original brush and kind of build that up some more. Again, just kind of packing it into place right now. And then again with my Alamar Cosmetics brush and just very lightly trying to blend along the edge. You can see here where it's really not looking great. That's unfortunate. I'm going to leave that there on that eye. Go on to the other eye. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm not super happy with it. You can really kind of just see there's some patchiness going on there. That's, like I said, unfortunate. This is a pretty shade, but if it's not going to perform well, then it's just not worth it. All right, we're going to go in with the shade Profesh, which is the darker green here in the palette, and hopefully that will cover up some of that patchiness. I'm just going to take that on my Luxie 231 small tapered blending brush, and I'm going to kind of start here in the outer corner. Still getting a bit of patchiness here. I'm very sad about that. Just going to keep blending and see if some of these problems can be fixed. We'll see. Wow, that is disappointing. I'm going to go back in with that Alamar brush and just kind of blend around the edge here. It's looking very harsh, looking very much a mess. I'm going to have to go in under my eyebrow with a lighter shade as well, which will not be from this palette because this palette does not have anything like that, and see if we can kind of fix that. So I don't know if you can see this here. That is just really, really unattractive. I'm going to go in with a smaller, denser brush. I'm just going to go in, I think, with a smudger brush, which is nice and dense, and see if I can really pack on the color there just to try to fix that out. And once I get it packed on, I don't want to move it around. I just want it to kind of stay. That's a little bit better, but it's not great. This eye is looking way better. This has got this really harsh line going on here. I am not sure what that is about. I don't know. I feel like I am not loving the direction this is going. I really, really hate the way this eye especially is looking. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just scrap this look. I very rarely do that, but I can't. I'm not going anywhere today, but I can't look at it. So I'm going to take this off and we are going to try again. Maybe we're not. I just don't know. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to give my primer more of a chance to dry. I just used the MAC paint pot like I always do, but we'll see if maybe that fixes the problem. So we'll give it one more shot and then we'll go from there. Okay, I've cleaned everything up. We're going to start again. My primer is dry. My eyebrows look like poop now, but here we go. This time we're going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to start with the darker green. I'm going to take it on a little bit denser brush. This is the Luxie 213 Eye Shading Brush. So I'm going to take Profesh, which is that darker green. This one does have quite a bit of kick up in the pan, and I'm going to pack that on first. And I'm going to work in very, very light layers. So I am like literally barely tapping my brush into the pan because I don't want to get too much pigment at once, because that was just a hot mess. Cat hair, I swear. So now that I have that kind of laid down, I'm just going to take this same brush without adding any extra pigment, and I'm just going to very lightly, using the kind of flat side of that brush, just kind of blend over the edge to try to not disturb what I've put down too much. Okay, that's better than it was last time. Okay, so far I'm much happier with it now than I was before. So there's quite a bit of kick up in the pan. You probably, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm gonna blow that away. Now for going in with Game Changer, which again is that brighter green, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take it on that fluffier Alamar Cosmetics brush. And again, working in very light layers, I'm going to start from the outside and just see if I can blend along the edge without it going too insane. I'm holding my brush really right at the end so that I don't apply too much pressure. So that's definitely better than the first go round, but I still feel like it is still looking, you know, just a little bit patchy, not the best blended. In real life, it doesn't look as bad as this situation going on here in the monitor. This looks atrocious. In real life, I'm not seeing that. I see a little bit of extra darkness here, but it's nowhere near as patchy looking in real life as it's looking on the monitor, but definitely not as smooth as I'd like it to be. I'm just kind of going back in to see if I can fill in some of those patchy spots. Again, just with Game Changer and very, very lightly with very, very tiny circular motions with my brush barely touching my lid. I don't want to disturb Profesh. too much. But I also don't want a harsh, patchy mess. I honestly think that's probably about as good as I'm going to get there. I am going to go ahead with just a little bit more of Profesh on that flat shading brush here and see if I can mitigate the damage over here by just gently packing on some color and not blending at all. That's as good as it's gonna get. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other eye. Okay, so I had ample time to think about what I want to do on my lid while I blended out that shadow. That took way longer than it ought to have. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with Profesh and put it all over my lid, and then I'm going to go over the top of it with either Poppin' Bottles or No Regrets. We'll see. I'll just watch those out and see which one I prefer. So just taking that flat shading brush that I used before, just going to put that all over my lid. Hope it doesn't become too patchy. Okay, I was gonna say that's not terrible, but I've got this huge crease right here on this side. Let's see. Hopefully whatever I put on top will fix it. Okay, so we're going to look at No Regrets, which is the shades down here, and Poppin' Bottles, which is this one up here. This one might be a little pink, I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna kind of swatch those. So here's No Regrets right here, if that will focus. No Regrets, and this is Poppin' Bottles. I think I'm gonna go ahead with Poppin' Bottles. Let's just kind of swatch those here and see. I don't know if you can even see that. It's kind of a pinky champagne color, and that one's got more of a grayish kind of purpley kind of taupey undertone. That was a lot of descriptive words. Let's see what drunk text looks like. I should have left that there. It's not typically something I would like to put on my lid. So this is really kind of like more of a darker, like olive. I think we're gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna try this one. It's not my typical kind of look, but I'm kind of headed into that grungy territory right now. Anyways, I'm just gonna layer that right over that green. I am not going to put anything down. I take it back. I think I'm just gonna take a little bit of my NYX glitter primer and just using my finger, I'm just going to use just a little bit of this to kind of intensify that. But I want to make sure that I don't get any harsh lines, which is why I'm using my finger to just kind of tap it on. And I'm going all the way out to the corner of my eye. All right, now I'm going to go in with drunk text on a clean finger. And I'm just going to pat that over the top. And I feel like this is kind of fixing some of the issues with that green. I should say those greens. All right, I actually kind of like that now. I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. All right, I feel like that shade Drunk Text really kind of saved the day because it was looking absolutely atrocious before I put that on. Okay, for my lower, well, before I go into my lower lashes, I'm just going to kind of blend very gently over the top edge of this. Okay, lower lashes. I had planned to use these blues. Do I still want to do that? I think I do. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the shade Abyss. Look at cat hair everywhere. The shade Abyss from Urban Decay, and I'm just gonna add that to my lower waterline. So then I'm gonna go in with the shade Tipsy. I'm gonna pick that up on the smudger brush here, and we're just going to smudge that all in. And this does have some shimmer to it, but these shimmers are really not that bam in your face kind of shimmer that I like. So I feel like it actually works pretty well for this kind of thing. And then because I want these to kind of blend together right now, I feel like it's very separate. I am actually going to take a little bit more of that shade Trunk Text, which is the shade that I put all over my lid. I trust it more than I trust those greens. And I'm just going to place it here in the outer V. Again, even though it's shimmery because of this formula, they really kind of can perform like a matte. Yeah, I like that better. Just to kind of meld these two together. All right, now I do feel like I want to blend that blue out with something. So I'm just going to take my little Luxie mini round tapered blending brush and, ooh, what do I want to use? There's not a lot to blend out blues here, is there? I don't know. I think I'm just going to go in with the shade Bold, which is this kind of brown shade here. I'm going to take it very lightly, so hopefully it's not going to be too dark under there. And just... Okay, I guess that's not too terrible. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Oh, my head is still, I know I said yesterday I wasn't feeling well. I'm still not feeling great today. I'm going to go ahead and finish off my base. I'm going to add some liner, I think, we'll see. And then we'll come back to talk about this. You know what, for my inner corner, let's go ahead and add the inner corner right now. For my inner corner, I think what I'm going to do is go into the shade Poppin' Bottles. We'll see how that looks. Even though it's kind of pinky toned, we'll see how that looks. And we're just going to just place just a little bit of that here. It's nowhere near as bright as I would normally like for an inner corner highlight, but it's the closest thing this palette offers. And I'm just going to kind of carefully blend it into Drunk Texts and Tipsy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, like I said, finish things off. Maybe add some liner, definitely some mascara, and then I will be back to talk about this. I think you probably have a sense of what I'm going to say already, but we will chat about this. So I will be right back. Okay, so here is the final look using the Melt Cosmetics Impulsive palette. This is look number 2. Okay, we're going to go ahead and zoom out so you can see the whole look, and we're going to have a chit chat about this palette. Okay, so clearly I had to add some glitter to this look. I just used Urban Decay's, what is this, Midnight Cowboy, just because it needed something, and I'm not sure that that was the right choice, but here we are. So let's talk about this palette. I mean, I have to be honest, you guys. I always try to be honest, but I mean, even at $32.50, I wish I still had my $32.50. This is a palette I honestly just didn't need, and I bought it because it was on sale. I fell into the classic trap of, ooh, it's on sale, and bought it. Bad move. It's still on sale, I believe. If I were you, I would skip it. frankly, these greens are atrocious. They're just not good. And I have greens that are very similar. Even from Melt, I have greens that are very similar. I'm just gonna pull out my Gemini palette and we're gonna do a quick swatch comparison of the greens in the Gemini palette and the greens here. They're not gonna be exact dupes, I can tell you that right now. But one of them I believe is like super similar. And of the formula between the Gemini palette and this palette, I definitely prefer this. I don't have the issues blending these out that I do blending these out. These were terrible. So let's just quickly do a swatch comparison. I'm gonna take my watch off here. I'm gonna start with the two from this palette. So I'm gonna start with Game Changer and Profesh. So this is Game Changer and this is Profesh. And we're just going to put them here. So the texture of these shadows is much grittier than the textures in the Gemini palette. So they really have, like, it feels grittier, like you're kind of feeling dirt. It's not pleasant. Then we're going to go in with Leo and Fire OG. You can probably even see on my finger, Leo is much more, it's a softer packed shadow, and it's just the texture is very, very soft. Fire OG is also soft, but not quite as soft as Leo. So we're going to swatch Leo right here under Profesh, and you can see how close they are. You know, Leo has a little bit more like yellow in it, and it honestly doesn't swatch as good, but on the eye it's way better. And then that's Fire OG, which has definitely got more yellow. It's that kind of awesome baby poop color. Yeah, but of these shadows, I definitely prefer the ones in the Gemini palette. That's just me. Like I said, these greens were terrible. It took me 20 minutes to blend out these two shades. 20 minutes to blend out two shades. That's insane and ridiculous and should never happen. I'm sorry. It should never happen. This look is okay. It's not my favorite look I've ever done. I did manage to get them to work and I don't look like a patchy hot mess, but I did have to wipe it off and start again. And I shouldn't have to do that, especially if a palette is this expensive. I mean, if I had paid full price for this, I really would have been furious. $65 and I have to wipe my makeup off and start again. That's not good. It's just not. These shades up here were better. I did actually like these shades and the way they blended, so those ones are fine. The foiled shades, no, these are not great shimmers. They're just not. I want a super bright, super foiled look. And I used a glitter glue today with this shimmer down here, Drunk Text. And it's looking fairly matte on my eyes, which is why I had to go ahead and add some glitter. And honestly, when I'm done with this, I'm probably going to chuck on a multi-chrome flake to add a little bit more dimension to this look before I film my BoxyCharm unboxing. So yeah, long story short, because I know that was an awfully long story, even at $32.50, even at $25, I honestly would skip this palette. There's nothing special, there's nothing unique about any of these shades. Those greens are atrocious. The oranges and the, you know, yellow there and the red and even this brown, they're not terrible. And the shimmers are lackluster. I mean, when you can use a shimmer like a matte and it shows up like a matte on your eye, that's not what I'm looking for in a shimmer. I want something bright, I want something sparkly, I want something amazing. So yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry, Melt. I actually really love Melt Cosmetics. I love their aesthetic. I love that kind of grungy vibe. But this just ain't it. So I would skip this. If you haven't purchased this already, if you were thinking about purchasing it, just don't. You'd be better off with the Gemini palette. And I mean, I know people have problems with their Smoke Sessions palette, you know, with especially with these shimmer shadows blooming and whatnot. But I've had mine for like a year and I don't have any issues with mine. So there's that. If you're looking for greens and you want to try Melt's formula, this is definitely the way to go. Or the Gemini palette, which I think is a fantastic. This is kind of my way to do neutrals. I don't love neutral shadows, but I really actually do like this palette. I think this is a beautiful palette, and these greens and this side especially is like my favorite. So yeah, anyways, that is it for today's review. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to hit that like button down below. And while you're there, scooch on over, hit subscribe. And next to that, there's a little teeny tiny bell. And if you ring that bell, you will be notified of all my uploads. I am doing better on my uploads. I don't have a schedule yet, but I'm hoping to get there soon. But I am trying to upload at least one video a week. This week, I think I actually have 3 videos going up, so yay me. And if you'd like to see more of me, I am on Instagram at seemybliss_beauty. It's the same thing that I am here. And with that said, stay tuned for the swatches and have a great afternoon, morning, night, whatever time of day it is. I don't know. Have a great one. Bye. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started with some swatches with the Melt Impulsive palette. I'm just going to swatch this side first, clean up my arm, and then I will swatch the other side. And I'm just going to go across the rows this way. So, starting with, let's see, I'm terrible at swatches, you all know this, 2012. Alright, there are all of the shades from the Melt Cosmetics Impulsive palette.